For centuries, the simple stick was used in a variety of combat environments. Even in an age of modern warfare, this cheap, low-tech weapon has proven valuable. US troops in Vietnam learned this the hard way. Viet Cong guerrillas lacked air power and artillery. Traps were a cost-effective way to significantly reduce the combat effectiveness of American infantry.
One individual being injured takes out 2 other people at one time. But everyone else in that squad is going to have to take their turn of carrying this individual and his equipment. So you've limited their combat effectiveness right off the bat. So if you can get 1 or 2 or even 3 people injured in that squad, then you've either limited or destroyed their combat effectiveness. That unit is no longer viable.
In Vietnam, the sticks were made from bamboo and were called punji.
There are different varieties or things that can be used as a punji stick. Probably one of the most effective is a simple piece of bamboo. As you can see, with the bamboo is cut off to a point like this and shaved properly, it's as sharp as a needle. The ability to penetrate bodies, clothing, is just phenomenal. It's nearly as good as steel. The effect is absolutely devastating.
The simplest trap was the punji pit, a hole bristling with sharpened bamboo stakes.
Right here, men, we have our punji man trap. As you can see, when I lift up, you can see all the punji stakes down the bottom.
This is probably one of the easiest and simplest traps to make up. It's just simply a leg trap utilizing punji stakes. The top of this trap will be covered with a lattice work, which is just simply fine twigs woven together, placed down over the top of this, and then leaves or whatever normal debris is around the trap so that it looks natural will be placed over the top of it.
Stepping into one of these could result in ripped muscles and torn flesh. And that wasn't the worst of it. The North Vietnamese devised many techniques that transformed the simple punji stick into a seriously debilitating and even fatal weapon. In the 1960s, American troops in Vietnam discovered that a very simple weapon could pose a serious threat. The punji pit was a constant danger to US infantry. The Viet Cong used a simple biological agent to make these pits even more treacherous.
One of the more effective ways this was used was after this would be shaped, is that it'd be filled with human excrement. And that way anyone who fell on this would also have the human excrement imparted into the wound and just starts horrendous infections.
Disease-carrying punjis and spikes were not always fixed on the ground. Punji traps were sometimes constructed with moving parts. Downward pressure from a soldier's foot would force the punjis or spikes into the most vulnerable parts of his body.
Right here, men, we have our ankle trap.
The way this trap works is there's a flexible material between the 2 wings. You place that into a hole so that the entire mechanism is below ground level, so you can't see the spikes. You then place a lattice work over the top of it, as we described before, and an individual comes by on the trail and steps into this. The 2 wings then fold up, pushing the spikes all the way in. This is called a spiked deadfall. It's manually pulled up into the tree and suspended there 30, maybe even as high as 50 feet up. When the trip line is struck, gravity being what it is, it falls very quickly. And anything underneath it will be crushed as well as being stabbed. I'm going to take this t-shirt that we poked just a couple of holes in and place it underneath this spiked deadfall and then drop the device on top of it. A really bad day.